Hello and welcome to the Round 1 Back 9 Creature Card Flexline Media coverage of the 2021 Paradise Plates New Zealand National Championships, sponsored by Community Trust South. This coverage is brought to you by the New Zealand Disc Golf Association. My name is Chris Hoopmann and I'm here with New Zealand Disc Golf legend Bob Gentil. How are you going, Bob?
Good, Chris. Good. Kia ora.
It's been wonderful watching the action here at Paradise. Such a beautiful location and some wonderful golf. Here is our creature card, 3-9 holes. We've got Andy Klun at 2 under par. He's tied 14th overall. We've got yourself tied for even in the Pro Men's 50. Ryan Cambridge also 2 under par. And Nicola Stout representing the women, 40 plus at 12 over par. So you're actually tied for first place in the Masters, and Nicola is second in the Women's Masters.
We were doing all right.
Not doing terrible. Here we have hole 10, par 3, 110 metres. This one's a very tricky shot shape. Need to get down the fairway, miss the trees, but also get up onto this plateau where the basket rests. It requires almost a forehand flex line to shape the hole.
Red rag to a jag.
And you found one of the trees in the fairway.
It was the start of a lot of lumber work I was going to do over the weekend.
That was Andy just getting caught up in the tussocks. Pretty much if you make the road, you've got a relatively easy upshot. And this is looking great from Ryan.
Once again, trying to take you out.
Yeah, I was in the firing line for a lot of these fairways because there was a particular gap through the trees, and if I wasn't standing in that gap, I wasn't able to see the players. Oh, Nicola catching a tree.
That looked familiar.
Rough stance.
Tricky stance here. This was a really tricky hole. It didn't look too hard, but by the time you actually started playing it, if you didn't get your shot down the fairway, you ended up with shots like this to contend with.
Yeah, and as soon as you have an awkward stance or an awkward swing, it can cause mistakes left, right, and centre.
It was a great drive for Andy to give himself an open shot and a look up to the basket. And even the basket position on this hole was really tricky because it was on a little knoll, and behind it was, once again, a drop-off into a hole.
Yeah, there are a lot of drop-offs around Paradise. But that was a good upshot by Andy with his harp. You've gone high and hyzer. Deflecting off a tree and very fortunate to just pull up just short of that drop-off. There's quite a steep gully down there.
It was kind of a high-risk shot, but I think it was all I had.
And now you've got an open look. Nicola played that well. Brilliant soft up there from Ryan. He'll take his 3 and walk away.
A lot of the scenery will look familiar to Lord of the Rings fans.
Yes, was the location for many shots throughout the series.
And you can see why.
Oh, it's incredible. Wonderful work with the Paradise Trust to conserve the forest here, regenerate the land. And it's wonderful of them to let us use the property to play disc golf. As Andy gets an excellent putt.
Nice putt. Vortica replay one more time. Beautiful.
Just catching the rim and tickling into the basket. Andy giving his tap of approval. Had Ethan there following the action, giving his mum the support. Great par there.
They're great boys. They're great boys, not to mention great disc players.
All right, let's get to know Ryan.
My name is Ryan Cambridge. I'm from Wanaka. My PDGA number is 158728. I started playing disc golf just as with one disc, just going around, and yeah, just kind of got addicted from there on. I've been preparing for this tournament by just going out, having fun, and yeah, just throwing heaps of discs. My advice for people out here is just avoid the trees. They're deadly. My 3 favourite discs, well, first one is definitely my Envy. I use it pretty much for everything, for driving, putting and approaches. Also love my, where is it? My Lion as well. Goes nice and straight, and yeah, just awesome disc, mid-range. And also this Undertaker of mine just goes super straight and just love it. Playing at Paradise means heaps to me because I'm kind of from around this area, spent a lot of time around here, and yeah, it's just cool to be out here playing disc golf.
Men a few words, but he plays disc golf very well. Great to have him on this card.
Good dude, great company.
Hole 11, par 4, 154 metres. This was an incredibly tough hole. Just having to throw it as straight as possible off the tee. There was an inside route, but that was fraught with danger. And then hopefully landing with this view up to the basket. Man, I saw a lot of people get into strife on this hole.
I saw most people get into strife on this hole, seriously. It was one of the holes I did wonder about, to be honest.
Andy playing it very well.
I think if you had a big arm, you could get back into that open area, well, semi-open area onto the left. But for most of us mere mortals, we had to negotiate the trees and find somewhere to try and land.
I mean, the footing is
Looks
flat
good
again,
from
though.
Ryan. He's found an open look to the basket. You're still throwing that turn.
Oh, yeah.
It's my mate.
Well, it treated you well there. Oh no.
Punk.
That's not what I was doing.
Nicola getting a rough kick out to the right-hand side, further from the basket.
Yeah, there we go.
It's a good recovery throw. She's back on the fairway.
It's okay. Even higher if you want.
Back on the fairway. You use that word in just.
Well, I mean, this hole didn't really have a fairway. There's a preferred route, perhaps.
As I say to anybody that complains, including myself, same for everybody.
That's it. But one player who's doing very well on this hole is Andy Klun. He's got to look for birdie.
Exactly, it was a par 4.
Oh dear.
Good news is you're in the open.
Thanks, bro.
Some nice positive encouragement.
I feel like it's not lost because we know it's in there. It's not like we couldn't find it. I mean, I guess unless somebody wanted to go in and try to get it. But again, we don't know how deep it is.
No.
So,
It's pretty deep.
it doesn't say there's OB on this hole, so I wouldn't say it's OB. I would just say take it from behind and just like take it on
Nicola's
that flat
disc
bit.
trickled into this
Yeah,
water
so
feature,
just say casual.
which wasn't marked on any of the course information.
Well, you could have Ethan get in there.
Yeah, we need
Come on.
we need someone who's willing to get wet
Not playing
feet.
anymore. You can get wet. Come on. I'm going to dangle Levi by his ankles. I promise not to drop him.
He'd have to junk in like halfway.
I think he did get it in the end, didn't he?
Yeah, they rescued it from that hole. I kept that little bit of entertainment in for our local New Zealand players who know these guys. Good up from Nicola to save that tricky position. It's a nice up from you.
Yeah, more good luck than good management, I'm afraid to say.
Ryan has to get over these niggly branches, and he does. That'll putt. It's very difficult. I apologise to to viewers who are not quite sure where these discs are coming from, it was a very difficult fairway to cover. Players all over the place and not a clear fairway to give you a frame of reference.
I felt for you really because you had no idea where anybody was going to land. Bad luck, Andy.
Yeah, great run. And that's a nice putt. Yes, it was a beautiful place to play disc golf, but a fairly challenging place to film disc golf.
You've done a great job, though. Flexline Media, I'm really impressed. It's great.
Oh, thank you. Ryan getting the par, which is an excellent par to get. Likewise for Andy. And Nicola having a rough time tapping in her triple bogey. Hole 12, par 3, bang on 100 metres. This is another tricky one. It's very difficult to see from this tee preview, but if you keep it high down the right-hand side, you can then trickle down into the green from above.
It was the only approach, really.
Yeah, you kind of have to push it out and just hope that it stalls and filters through the trees down into the green, which is exactly what Andy has thrown. And as you can see here, I'm searching for it up above. And that's a great result.
Brilliant result. Ryan hoping to do the same, obviously.
Looks like he's throwing his envy. Just catching a branch. He's landed up on the hill to the right-hand side of that shot. Well, that's nice.
Go, baby, push through.
Some good height on that one. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's sussed out there was more of a gap higher, and once again I ended up not far out of the 10-metre circle with a look at the basket.
Certainly one of those holes that you just have to throw and hope and just trust that you've thrown it to the right place.
Hook up, baby.
Ooh. Not quite sure where that landed up. I think just short of the fence that was dividing the fairway. And this is the envy again from Ryan. Oh no.
I'm thinking that wasn't part of the plan.
No. And that looked like... Was that a grenade?
I like the idea though. I really like the idea.
Ethan's a fan. Yeah, Nicola's got a nice up. Nice and clear. She's catching a tree. She's going to curl up right next to Andy's lie.
Wasn't a bad place to drive to, if I could have just putted.
Ooh, gave it a good run. And this is Ryan.
It was yet another stunning setting for a basket, wasn't it?
Oh, wonderful. Beneath some giant beech trees. You can see there's black markers on the ground. This was a game that was formulated by a local New Zealand disc golfer to play as a putting game. So there's markers, and then you had a number of putts from each point, and you could battle each other and compare who gets the best score from different points of the green. Really fun.
The other nice thing to point out was this is the area they were used for night golf, and they had a whole lighting rig come in, and they lit all the trees and the baskets, and it really looks spectacular. But it was a great thing to do on the Sunday night,
Sunday, I think, yeah. Oh, wonderful birdie from Andy.
Nice putt.
It's great to have a bit of a gallery as these cards finished up their rounds.
It's interesting watching Andy too with his earbuds in. It intrigues me really, because I'm not a person that, like in this sort of setting, I just want to hear the trees and the birds and all the rest of it. But a lot of people now are starting to actually have their music of choice, and just to help them concentrate and stay on task for the round. Although it was quite interesting, he was taking them in and out all the time. I think when he needed to spend some time concentrating. Nice, Nicola. A 4.
Hole 13, par 3, 95 metres. This one was similar to hole 10, so just trying to pick your way through the trees. A bit more of a dense fairway. There's a route out to the side. You can get it to hyzer back or even skip around to this basket, which is positioned very beautifully on a stump.
It was about the only route really to go out to the right and just hope that it faded back over for a clock spin.
Miss.
Andy not making it past one of the first trees on the fairway. Tell you what, these fairways really made you feel good when you hit the line.
Yeah, I was happy with that.
Yeah. Little straddle out from behind that tree. Oh, miss it.
Not that one.
Ooh, rough kick out to the left for Nicola.
And once again, you were penalised if you went too far on this hole. There was a big drop off behind the basket.
Yes. Yep. Easy to forget. And Ryan gets up a decent length on the fairway. This looks like Andy's defender. Oh, lovely. He's nestled right there by the basket.
Come on, Mum.
A little bit high from Nicola. Oh, great height from Ryan.
Good run. Good run.
Yeah. Probably got about 6 meters comebacker. Oh, also a great effort. Nicola.
It really was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Would have been remarkable if she stuck on the stump underneath the cage. Excellent birdie, Bob.
Welcome back. But there was more woods to come. You can see on the left-hand side there that drop-off.
Mm.
So if your drive went too far, or even your upshot coming down the fairway, wasn't a happy place to be. Nice, Nicola. Couple of birds, a par, and a bogey.
Here we have hole 14, par 3, 80 meters. Similar to hole 1, there is a wedding ceremony area right in the middle of the fairway. The goal is to get over the gully, get over the wedding area, and then park it next to the basket.
It's Business Time is the title of this hole.
Ooh, skipping a little bit left, but there's definitely a look.
Surprise, surprise, my turn turned.
As soon as you're past those wedding benches, pretty much everywhere has a look.
I have an open putt.
That was Ryan Star Lion catching a tree just across the gully. And Nicola, a little high, but that actually might work well for her. Just catching a branch, falls a bit short.
Got across the gully though, main thing.
This is probably about a 30-meter look for Ryan. Oh.
Nice, nice, nice.
Wonderful. Having a second look at that on the Vortica Disco free play. Brilliant. What
Beautiful
a wonderful putt.
It wasn't easy by any means either.
Yep, fantastic. Yeah, I'm sure Ryan's going to remember that one. Those kind of putts don't happen too often. Nicola from a similar distance. Ooh, wow.
Nice.
Great run. Just falling short. Kind of stabbed at that one a little bit there.
If I could putt, I'd be good at this game.
Whoa, Andy can putt.
Yeah, nice putting, Andy.
And he goes down to 4 under par, so really doing well. Got the 2 birds already on this back nine. Smooth moves there, Bob. Tapping in your par.
I wish all my putts could be that long.
And a tap in par for Nicola. Great work on this card. Oh, does that count as 2? Big thanks to Community Trust South for supporting this tournament and doing amazing things down in the community in Southland. Here is hole 15, par 3, 90 metres. Another hole that has a very difficult fairway. There's a route straight ahead from the tee, but then it turns sharply to the right towards the basket, about 80 metres down the fairway. Forehand preferred.
This was another hole that took me probably 3 rounds to find a route.
Well, it's right in front of you, but you just can't see it from the tee.
I'm trying to get you, Chris. I'm just trying to get you.
And that was another example of Andy trying to get me. That was a Pioneer, Latitude 64 Pioneer. And it deflected off a tree and just landed right in front of me. Ryan catching an early tree, kicking out to the left.
Bob going, I've got no idea what to do here.
Well, you've got some idea. You can throw your turn.
Good thinking.
Oh, wow. Nicola's managed to get through probably about half the fairway, getting a late tree. This is the kind of fairway you want to make it as far as you can before you hit a tree, because you're probably going to hit a tree.
Sit.
Oh, this needs to sit.
Oh, it went down the backside.
Ah, really unlucky roll there, because that was looking great from Ryan.
If you were going to have some work to do, I decided you're better off be below the basket looking up.
Is that why you threw it into that tree?
You noticed.
Maybe a touch too much anhyzer on that from Nicola. She'll be throwing again. I'm not sure if that's sat. Let's hope so. She should be on the green. Good up from Ryan.
Compliments also to the Wanaka and Queenstown crew who set this course up, of course. All these baskets had to be shipped down and then taken out to Paradise and then, of course, put out. The course had to be put out and then brought in again afterwards. There's a lot of effort goes into an event like this.
Yeah, that's right. It's a temporary course for the event, so it's a massive undertaking for everyone involved. And yeah, those two groups do amazing work to set up this course. Looks like Nicola rolled behind the basket, which is very unfortunate. She had to pitch up onto the top here.
See, this is one of those things where you don't want to think too much about going past it.
No, Andy. Sit. No, Andy, why did you do that?
I rest my case.
Instant regret from Andy. He's been bogey-free up until here, so really unfortunate that he couldn't get that one in the chains. He's going to have to settle for bogey here.
With a straddle putt.
Did it sit? That's a good question to ask on this hole. Our creature card here getting a bit undone by hole 15. We've got 2 bogeys so far. Looks like Nicola, this might be a triple bogey. And from you, Bob, that was a par. So you played that very well.
I surprised myself.
Hole 16 par for 135 metres. Players should be aiming for the little 100-metre sign at the bottom of the screen there. And that gives you this angle at the basket, just to miss both trees and filter down. it does drop off behind the basket, so players need to watch their speed heading into the screen.
Yeah, like a few baskets, it was right on the edge.
Looks like yours is leaking left a bit more than you would like, but it hits a branch and falls down. So you're just short of that 100-meter sign. This looks great from Andy. Almost taking me out again. That looked like the defender. I think I had a target on my head.
He gets enough Z's or spin, if you like, on those sidearms, or flicks, if you like, that they just hold their line beautifully.
Ryan's trickling left as well. Fortunate to hit that tree, because I think if it didn't, he might be down almost in Diamond Lake. Oh, this is lovely from Nicola. Where is it going?
Showing up the boys in the group.
Yep. I apologise, Nicola. Didn't quite catch that flight as well as I would have liked, but excellent drive nonetheless, in a great position.
Here's my lovely coyote.
Ooh.
I think you got a nice shot of that being tacoed.
Oh no.
It was the story for a lot of people over the weekend. Occasionally you got a great shot and thought, oh, I'm happy with that. But then your second shot let you down.
Wonderful upshot there from Ryan.
That was good golf.
Mm-hmm.
You had to get it over some of those fallen logs and then get it stopped before it went over the bank. Another one.
Yeah, very, very tight landing zone on this green. Oh, Nicola managing to collect most of the timber on this hole after such a great drive. Let's see if you can miss it. Ah. Good result. Nicola with a fallen log in front of her, but she's only about 8 meters out.
Yes.
Oh, big
Nice.
hyzer putt.
Very nice.
We'll see how they get on the Vortica Disc Golf replay. Wonderful.
Perfect. It's a smart putt. That hyzer
Yeah.
putt, when you haven't got a very big landing area, you can sort of send it up and have it drop down, and if it goes in, it goes in. If it doesn't, then you're left nice and handy.
Great birdie from Andy. Tidy par from you, Bob.
Beautiful.
Sitting at +1. Also a birdie for Ryan. Good to see Andy and Ryan bounce back from that bogey previous hole. On to hole 17. This is a big hole. Par 5, 155 meters. It zigzags back up the hill, so it's very tricky to find a good landing zone. Safe place to stick to the path, but if you're feeling daring, you can cut off some corners and go through the middle and hope that you don't hit some trees.
OB all down the left, and not only OB, but of course there was a big drop off as well.
That's correct. So yeah, players needing to keep their drives firmly to the right hand side. Looks like Andy's throwing that defender going straight up the middle, and he's pured this, and he's landed well into that second patch of trees. If you consider it as 4 zigzags, he's in the second zag. And that was tidy from Ryan.
Yeah, good idea going over the hill.
Miss that.
Nice and straight from Nicola.
This hole
That's
was
beautiful.
appropriately called snaky, and it literally was a sort of round to the left, round to the right, round to the left, then back up to the basket.
Oh, sneaky little Anheuser from you. Getting cut down, unfortunately. But that was a great angle.
This was a smart move, actually, and I did it for the rest of the rounds, going over the high side to the right.
Yeah, it gave you a bit better of a view to see what was below you. And you also have the height advantage.
There we go.
And kept you well away from the nasty, and I mean nasty, OB to the left.
Well, you're managing to avoid it so far. Oh, threading a gap there.
I meant to do that.
Ryan's having to stretch out with the forehand to get around this tree. And, ooh, not quite enough, getting a kick out to the right. Hopefully, the only consolation is that he has a better angle to the basket. And this is Andy's drive, so he's made it a fair way up the fairway. He's got to get over these trees, these little saplings. Plays it out wide to the right.
Speaking of those little saplings, I suspect our days of playing courses like this here at Paradise are going to be numbered because, of course, those trees are going to become bigger every year and not that easy to get around.
Yeah, obviously being conservation, public trust land, it's all protected, and we have to pay attention to where we walk and make sure we're not trampling on too many of the native species that the trust is looking to regenerate. Oh, that was a very handy kick off that tree, Bob.
It was. Sometimes tree love is good.
Wonderful patent pending throw from Nicola.
Well threaded.
She's still got a little bit to butt up to reach the basket. That's handy. Let's see if Kyle can reach it. So this is his third throw. He may have had an eagle if that tree wasn't there.
Nice and open, straight at it. This should be easy.
Oh, just low.
But then again...
Let's see what Ryan can do. Oh, beautiful catch for par. Ryan was always smiling. Such a good character.
Pretty much everybody in our group was smiling. We had a great group and a great round. Even the video crew was smiling.
Excellent birdie for Andy. Well played. Not too many birdies on this hole. It played actually just on par.
Not for me. This was a lovely little walk too, when you walked from hole 17 up to the final hole, hole 18 up the hill.
Yeah, good putt, Mum.
And before we wrap things up, let's hear from our final creature card player, Nicola Stout.
Hi, I'm Nicola Stout. I'm from Invercargill. I think I've been playing disc golf for about 3 years, but only doing tournaments for nearly 2. Back in, it must be 2017, I was staying in Te Anau or Manapori and met friends in Te Anau, and they were playing a game of frisbee golf. And so I went for a round with them and thought, oh yeah, that's all right. And I thought, well, I'll take my family around. And we went and bought some, flowering frisbees, not proper discs. And we went for a throw, and then my boys were very hooked. I probably didn't really start getting into it until I watched Tucker's Beach one year, and I was there and I thought, actually, why am I watching? I should be throwing. So then I entered the next one, which was, I played recreational at Lismore, and then I played the Wahitapu that year. So that was how I got started. My 3 favourite discs at the moment is my Platinum Peewaka from RPM, and then my Platinum Tui from RPM. I don't throw very far, so I don't throw many drivers, so I keep it quite simple. And actually, probably the other one that I'm relying on a little bit is a Leopard as well. I putt with a Ruru, but probably these will probably be the 3 I perhaps use most this weekend. But I love this one, and this one. One thing that sticks in my mind is actually in 2019, we decided to just do a road trip and go to some disc golf courses as a family. So we, and I really enjoyed that there was a family sport. Me and the boys and my husband, we went for a trip to Dunedin and Timaru and Tekapo, Wanaka, Queenstown, and we did a wee roadie. And I just thought it was a great way to spend time, and probably that's the best thing I like about disc golf, is actually spending time with anyone really and getting out in nature. Yeah. I haven't aced anything, so I can't say that.
Awesome to hear from Nicola. She's a great representative of the women's game, which we're of course trying to grow here in New Zealand and the world.
Interesting, she talked about the Waka Wakas, and there was plenty of those around the park over the weekend too.
Hole 18, par 3, 65 metres, got the mandel around the tree. So either a forehand line or a turnover. It's a tricky one. There's a little patch of OB as well just before the basket, and as we've seen in so many of these holes here, a very steep fall off just beyond the basket. Andy throwing that Pioneer. Coming up short, catching that long grass just under the tree.
Once again, for a right-handed thrower to throw that anti-clock spin, to have it turn to the right, is a very handy thing to do.
And that's exactly what Ryan's done, but he's hit a tree and just fallen short. Just avoided the OB. You can see that little red flag. Oh, and Nicola also getting around the Mando.
Get out of there.
But just catching OB. That little area is just to preserve some seedlings or some saplings, native species that they're trying to regenerate in that zone.
Get inside.
Big Annie.
Nice, Bob. You've done the hardest part of the hole.
Now I just have to avoid going down the bank.
Let's see, what will Andy do? Will he play it safe or run it? He's sitting at 5 under par, which is a great result for this first round. Plays it safe. He'll be tapping in and finishing on 5 under par. Oh, confident run from Ryan. But looks like he will also take the par and finish on 1 under.
He's not planning on going for it. He's happy to take par 2.
Oh. Close for Nicola. We have a 3 par for Andy. Well played, Andy. Some fantastic drives. Ryan finishing up as well.
And a par for Bob.
And Nicola will tap in her double bogey, finishing at 24 over par.
And that was the Creature Round.
It's been a fantastic day here at Paradise Plates. I think everyone's ready to head back to their cabins and grab a drink and reminisce over the fire about their day's play. And here we have the overall round results for round 1. Jackson Sullivan leading the way at 8 under par. And we've got a stacked field tied for second. Mario Chania, Ben Will Lake and Roberts Crastons will share the honours on our lead card tomorrow. Big shout out to Ryan Cambridge, who is tied for 17th overall, but he's first in advanced. So great work coming off the creature card there, Ryan. And that wraps up our creature card coverage. Round 1 here at the Paradise Place 2021. Thanks so much for joining us, Bob.
Oh, a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you very soon, back here for round 2.